here to discuss. I'm pleased to welcome you all to this public hearing on Sexual Harassment Bill 2019. The question of sexual harassment has been a nagging question in most environments. It has been with us for a very long time. In fact, when this particular bill was mooted and presented in the 8th Senate, I was one of those who suggested that it should be broadened and expanded to cover all our claims and all our national institutions, from commercial, industrial, academic, and so many other areas where Nigerians congregate and live and interact with each other. Because I thought at that time, and I still do, that this crime is so important that it is not limited to harassment only in academic institutions. But be that it is may, it is still good to start from somewhere. Sexual harassment and intimidation is not just a sexual or a moral offense, but also a criminal one. It is an offense that is so offensive to good reasoning as much as it is an assault on our human virtues and good conscience. A crime that seeks to take advantage through pandering to base instincts and committed against weak and disadvantaged victims is also one that no nation should take lightly. We have often made the point that societies are better where every individual, young, weak, small, strong, is respected. Harassment and intimidation and manipulation of sexuality of all sorts are actions that should have no place in any democratic and sane society. These actions should incur the wrath of the law. They are infractions that we should not only continue to find ways of dealing with, but which culprits deserve the full face and weight of the law. The tendencies of people to take advantage of our weaker compatriots are not limited to only academic institutions. Like I said, we have read reports of these happenings not only in our higher institutions of learning, but also in industries and workplaces. It also happens in our homes, depending on circumstances. These acts occur despite the knowledge of basic ethics and irrespective of some extant laws against them. We realize that the extant laws against these harassments were laws that were made in our earlier disposition, and they are not so drastic enough to deter would-be assailants. We are therefore called upon to think upon new restrictions and sanctions to deter and punish further occurrence, just if the extant laws are not tight enough. As citizens, we must have a common responsibility to fight these menace, because anyone could be a victim. It could be a relation, an acquaintance, a mother, a father, a sister, a brother, or anybody else. We also do acknowledge that oppression of any kind is unacceptable in our democratic society. Our ability to recognize this is increased when a victim is someone that is close. Nevertheless, we have a responsibility as a people to ensure that our conduct are decent and acceptable to moral codes that govern our societies. We should therefore not be opportunistic or deviants or criminal who would rather resort to irritating each other and the rest of us. We should give no room for those kinds of destabilizing and immoral behavior. We are here as stakeholders to examine this bill and to see how it can go further in the process of prevention and sanction. Our interest is to build a society where all will be free of intimidation and harassment, and where choices will be freely and reasonably made. We need therefore to be critical and firm on how best to proceed with this bill. My charge to you, ladies and gentlemen, is to be forthright in your suggestions and contributions to enable us build a system that is respectable, that protects people's rights and places our country in the right place in the community of nations. I'm very confident that it is a task that we can handle, and we look forward to quality submissions, not just for the benefit of the present generation, but also for the future. It is therefore my pleasure to thank all of you for coming to this occasion, and my hope that your deliberations will give the National Assembly the strength and the moral capital to see the consummation of this law into fruition. I thank you very much for your attention, and I also pray that all of you go back safely to your destinations. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you very much. That's a speech of His Excellency, the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is also the Chairman of the National Assembly, read to us by the Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Permit me to stand on the protocols already established. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure this is the best of times for academics. If we go the way we are going, very soon nobody will be proud of his or our former teacher. We shall all discredit our teachers, and by so doing, we shall also decrease or devalue the integrity of our certificates. Distinguished Chairman, I will start by posing some questions. Does ASU support sexual harassment? No. ASU does not support sexual harassment in any form. And we have made that clear. Everywhere and every time we have the opportunity to do so. We were here in 2016 and we spoke along the same line. But the other question now is, are there other problems in the universities that warrant being given immediate attention? I'm sure many of us will mention corruption. Maybe very soon we'll come back to say, let's have law on corruption that focuses on the university. Our thinking about this is that, just like the last speaker said, we need to ask ourselves, are there laws that will address the same problem we are concerned with? And I think the answer is yes. The last speaker indeed made reference to one by talking of the Act of 2015, and she was even suggesting that we should reconcile this bill with that act. What does it take to review that act to ensure that we cover our new area or areas of concern? That is the posture we are placing before this distinguished Senate. If we have a law that addresses issues related to this problem of sexual harassment, why are we wasting time talking about another law? Are we also going to formulate a separate law to address corruption in the universities? Are we going to formulate other laws to address sexual harassment in the police, in the National Assembly? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in other places, other climes, how do they handle this kind of problem? Some 3 weeks back, a case of sexual harassment was reported in Harvard. Another was reported in Cambridge. They didn't come up with new laws. With due respect to my sister Monica, I respect her sensibilities and all other ladies that could have fallen victim. We didn't need to wait for this law for Professor Akindele to be jailed, did we? If we have laws that we find deficient, what does it cost us to review the law? We are saying that laws should not be made ad hoc. Otherwise, we will see other problems and we will start talking about targets. Targets for prison warders that harass prisoners, laws that address employers that harass potential or prospective employees, and so on and so forth. Many of these instances have been given here today. And our friends and comrades, our students.
So, sorry, we heard some noise coming from behind. Sorry, whoever is sharing food, just make sure that does not, cause any. Okay. Yes, Prof, you have the floor.
Yes, sir. So we are saying in essence that, like many previous speakers have said, this bias is too much. It's as if we are stigmatizing those who should be the precursors, those who should be the custodians of our innovations and progress. 2 more minutes, please. So, I will say, in summary, this bill has failed to take cognizance of various extant legislations that currently deal with the issue of sexual offenses. In fact, I could say a mixture or a confusion between harassment and abuse. In this law, the proposed law, we are saying harassment could be the same thing as sexual intercourse. I saw it somewhere here. And where we say that, we are even denying the fact that some group of 5 ladies can lock up a lecturer in the office and make some demand. Please, not necessarily sexual. Because the learned representative of one of the law agencies said this could be procured under duress or by fraudulent means. When students lock up lecturers and they say, well, we have your video here. If you don't review our scores, we will release it to the public. What have the students done? Video of the discussion. You don't know what is going on there, but they can remove their top. They can remove their top. And they tell you that you have torn my dress. You think it's not possible? I've spent 32 years in universities. I can tell you it is possible. And I can also tell you I've experienced it. What do I mean? Students not coming to you to make frivolous demands. You have to be wiser than Solomon. to handle some of these situations. So what we are saying in essence is, we need to review what we have presently. We need to recognize the autonomy of the universities. We have a law, the autonomy law of 2007, legislated by this same National Assembly, already makes provisions for how to address all of this. You talk of institutional procedures, they are there. The institutional procedures are not necessarily irreconcilable with prosecution. There are aspects that are criminal. Immediately it happens, immediately such instance happens, we know where to go. So we are saying, in essence, that universities are currently handling problems like this, and we should not, I plead with you, we should not discredit our custodians of knowledge, because if you do so, and you cause them to lose confidence in what they are doing, we will pay dearly to recover. Thank you very much. Thank you.
This bill is restrictive. Why are lecturers targeted? Let me say, for the drafters, the legislative intent of this bill is clear. It is aimed at addressing this issue in a particular sector. This does not stop anybody. I mean, it could be from the civil society or from individual or even an elected member of parliament. It doesn't stop anybody from bringing another bill tomorrow that will address this same issue in other sectors. People have asked the question, does it mean these things are not happening even in parliament, in the judiciary, in the executive arm of government? Laws will always be made to address issues. But today, the issue before us is, the need to address this in our tertiary institutions. And that's what we'll have to deal with, without prejudice to what may happen tomorrow.